Colorado's got a huge matchup against Cincinnati this weekend. It's a late kickoff, 10:15 on the East Coast to 8:15 Mountain. Let's go ahead and preview this game. Coach Reed, I'll start with you. Just preview this game, your thoughts on this game going into it.
Well, I got a lot of respect for Coach Satterfield. He's a guy I also know really, really well. During the time I was a high school coach, he did a tremendous job recruiting the St. Louis area, a great quarterback coach, an offensive guy, and just a world-class human being. And he's got a good football team there at the University of Cincinnati. I think from a standpoint of the Colorado Buffaloes, they have to do what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Stop the run on defense, create plays in the passing game, and be efficient running the ball when those opportunities come. The key stat for them, 43 second half points is all they've given up. They've done a tremendous job adjusting defensively after halftime. And if they can do that, they'll be bowling soon.
No doubt. That's a credit to Coach Livingston on the defensive side. Their second half defense, yeah, like you said, they make great adjustments at half. Big Matt, your thoughts on this game?
Well, I mean, hell, man, the Cincinnati Bearcats, their 2 losses are by 4 combined points. Mm-hmm. They lost to Pittsburgh on the road, to ranked Pittsburgh by a point. They lost at Texas Tech 44-41. So that you could argue that this team should be undefeated, even more so than we could argue CU should be. So they're hungry, and they did not have a good year. Their first year in the Big 12 was kind of a baptism for them. They've got a defensive tackle. They call him the Godfather, and he is a monster up front. So he's going to be a huge test for the interior of that offensive line when our strength is obviously our freshman Seaton. And look, I'll just parlay that into the next question here because I know we're going to talk about recruiting. But Coach Reed, have you ever seen anything like Jordan Seaton before? I mean, obviously there's been good offensive linemen, but I mean, bro, he just stepped in, took over the job, took over the leadership. I personally think we talked about this really in depth yesterday that if Jordan Seaton stays healthy, he's the #1 pick in the draft in 3 years.
To answer your question, yes, I have seen players that are elite. I think what makes him different is you knew from the very first day that he got the commitment, that he committed to Colorado, that he was going to start at left tackle. Some of those other elite guys, when they went into school, the pressure wasn't on them to start. They probably started the year with the 2s, some cases the 3s, and were able to work their way in to playing over the course of the first couple of games, and even for the ones who probably started game 1. But Jordan Seaton went in. Everybody knew he was going to start at left tackle as a freshman, and he was going to be blocking the blind side for Shedeur Sanders. And that's a tremendous amount of pressure. And he got himself ready to play. And so you have to have a lot of respect for that.
And so the offensive line this week, you saw them replace Zelinkus last week, who's a Cherry Creek product here in Denver, one of Dave Logan's guys. His brother actually plays center at Rutgers and is a very highly regarded NFL prospect. They replaced him with Cash Cleveland, who played at IMG with Seaton. And now they've got to deal with Deontay Coleon. That's the nose tackle's name. And he is a monster. He's an NFL draft pick and a really good player. Is this a huge test for the Colorado offensive line this week? And where would you go at center? Would you stick with Zelinkus or maybe run with Cash Cleveland?
Well, it's absolutely a huge test because you have a potential top-level pick on the interior of the defensive line. And if a team can get pressure from up the middle, it causes you a boatload of problems on offense. Does. So it's definitely a test. You want the guy that can snap the ball to your quarterback, though, the most consistently. And whoever you feel like that is over the course of practice, you roll with that guy. But I think that you got what you find out, you got 2 guys that you can play if you need to. And over the course of the game, you got to really go with the guy that's getting the job done for you. But when you have an elite player on the interior defensive line, people don't understand football is a numbers game. You picking out when you're in the RPO game, pass game, run game, loaded box you want to throw, lighter box you want to run. But great players can change the numbers. If you have a great player that's causing problems, sometimes you can stop the run with 5 guys in the box or 6 guys in the box, and you can add numbers to the passing game. So you want to make sure that you can control that one dude at the line of scrimmage, because if you allow one player to be great, that's what makes Travis Hunter such a matchup problem for other teams, because he changes the numbers. And so coaches, when they're calling plays offensively and defensively, they're looking for a numbers advantage. But when you got a dude, no matter what position he plays, that can change the numbers for you on either side of the ball, it gives you an advantage. So we have to secure that defensive tackle from the University of Cincinnati.